Let us for a few moments withdraw the mind from outward activities and focus it on the divine light inside the heart center and pray for the well-being of the whole humanity. Om Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Math Namah Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityor ma mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been reading and discussing some of the topics taken from Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. In the last class, I have dealt with the subject hidden treasure. The gold is within our heart. God is within our heart. But that is hidden. So you don't have to run outside, anywhere else. Just the Supreme Godhead is in your own heart. So that has been revealed by the sages, seers and rishis. They have all disclosed that it is possible to experience that divine light dwelling in one's heart. So, what is needed is very important factor which I talked on in my last Sunday class. Dhrida Nishchayaha. We must have firm determination in order to pursue the goal. You have become aware of the fact that God is hidden in your heart. You know the divine treasure is there. Now you have to get into it. That means you have to act upon with all your resources. So Sri Ramakrishna said that one attains perfection by the grace of God. It is true, finally God's grace will work. Sri Ramakrishna certainly also emphasizes self-effort. To get into buried treasure, self-effort in the form of spiritual practice, like the digging process, should have to be done. The lucky discovery of the golden jar after much digging hints at divine grace. Divine grace, generally, it will come at last as a sequel to the relentless effort of the spiritual aspirant. Only strenuous digging brings the hidden treasure to view and then to one's grasp. Again, even the most strenuous digging for treasure in the outside world may prove utterly fruitless, but struggles to realize the hidden spiritual treasure within can never ultimately be in vain, for divinity is inherent in all living beings. Everyone has that divinity in one's heart. That's what Swami Vivekananda declared in one of his talks. Each soul is potentially divine. You are suffering because you have not become aware of your divinity. So suffering is because of the ignorance. You have to drive out the ignorance, then you will be joyful. So Sri Ramakrishna's description of the behavior of the treasure hunter when he actually grasps the jar of gold coins hints at what a man of God would do after fully realizing God. The scriptures call such a person Brahmavid Varishtha, that is, the greatest among the knowers of Brahman. Sri Ramakrishna referred to such a one as a Vijnani, that is, one whose knowledge of God is supremely intimate. Just as the treasure finder pours out the gold coins, counts them, and feels the ecstasy of joy, so the intimate knower of God sees Him everywhere, talks to Him, and communes with Him in the depths of his soul. As the Upanishads declare, he sports with the Atman and delights in the Atman. Sri Ramakrishna describes the characteristics of Vijnana in the Gospel. It is knowing God in a special way. That is Vijnana. Knowing God in a special way. The awareness and conviction that fire exists in wood is jnana, knowledge. But to cook rice on that fire, eat the rice and get nourishment from it is vijnana. To know by one's inner experience that God exists is jnana, but to talk to Him, to enjoy Him as child, as friend, as master, as beloved is vijnana. The realization that God alone has become the universe and all living beings is vijnana. So, Sri Ramakrishna has explained all these important factors regarding the hidden treasure, and we have dealt with this subject in great detail in the last class. And today I am speaking about another topic, the Ramakrishna ideal. it is very important and very significant in the present time when people are more and more becoming secularly oriented. That is, they are losing all faith in the religion. They are just rushing on towards the bodily pleasures and worldly activities, totally forgetting about the fine, wonderful, inner divine qualities. So Sri Ramakrishna has come in order to show the way and inspire the people who are struggling in the spiritual path. Sri Ramakrishna's personality has three dimensions: the individual, the universal, and the divine. Accordingly, the Ramakrishna ideal is a composite of three distinct ideals. The ideal person of the present age, the prophet of the present age, the deity of the present age. Swami Brahmananda ji, one of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, has said about Sri Ramakrishna as the incarnation of this age. Sri Ramakrishna is helping every sincere and earnest aspirant. He is waiting for you. In fact, if you study Sri Ramakrishna's life, you understand how he was calling. Where are you devotees? Come on. Here is divine treasure. I want to share the whole thing with you. I want to give away the thing. Give away everything to you. Come on, where are you? So Sri Ramakrishna is waiting literally for the spiritual aspirants to come to him. He is available readily. Where do you find a man of experience available in that fashion? He was readily available to everyone, whosoever is seeking the spiritual knowledge. No appointment is required. Everybody is welcome to see him. And once they come to see him, next Sri Ramakrishna didn't have to call him. The person himself will run towards him. We have found in the life how after one or two visits, Swami Vivekananda became so restless, he could not stay in the home. He would run literally, running from Calcutta to Dakshineshwar, several miles, running to see Sri Ramakrishna. So he felt the tremendous divine attraction from Sri Ramakrishna's personality. Sri Ramakrishna was born in this age to teach mankind that dispassion is the ideal of human life. He who is honest, who is faithful and devoted will have to come within the orbit of Sri Ramakrishna, where alone in this age real peace is to be found. He who follows the ideal which Sri Ramakrishna embodies will become heir to eternal happiness. When we speak of Sri Ramakrishna as an ideal person, what we mean is that he was the embodiment of this ancient Vedantic ideal of perfection in him. The characteristics of the fully liberated individual have been described in the Upanishads, where he is known as Brahmavid, knower of Brahman. Bhagavad Gita calls such a person as Sthita Prajna, man of steady wisdom, transcended the gunas, gunatita, and so on. Vivekananda, the Advaitic treatise composed by great Shankaracharya, he is known as Jivan Mukta, the individual realized while alive, while in this very life. A study of these descriptions reveals the fact that their emphasis is usually on negative qualities. Example, detachment, renunciation, remaining unaffected by heat and cold, pleasure and pain, praise and blame, and other polarities. The world is looked upon as unreal, as a product of Maya, or a place of sorrow, and a liberated individual is one who has transcended the world. Now, in modern society, with its keen awareness of the miseries of life, greater social commitment, and greater interdependence of people, the ideal that Sri Ramakrishna lived and exemplified in his life is very significant. It was an extension or expansion of the ancient ideal adopted to the needs of the modern age. He was conversant with the Jivan Mukta ideal, the individual soul getting liberation, but was also aware of its limitations. He did not reject it or condemn it. What he did was to charge it with the power of his spiritual realizations, to give it a new meaning and purpose, and to raise it to a higher level so that it might fulfill the aspirations of the modern man. The ideal person, according to Sri Ramakrishna, is one should not only attain liberation for oneself, is perfectly all right, but also strives for the liberation of others. Don't simply get away after realization as if you are not concerned with any other things. No. Share that joy with others. Help the people who are suffering to reach that state. That is what Sri Ramakrishna represents, the ideal. Such a fully illumined soul is called by Sri Ramakrishna as a Vijnani. It is as a perfect Vijnani that Sri Ramakrishna is said to be the ideal man for the modern age. He not only realized the truth, experienced immense bliss, went into Samadhi several times. At the same time, he was very eager to impart that knowledge to the seekers who are sincere, who really want spiritual unfoldment. Sri Ramakrishna was ready to help them and direct them in the right direction. So, when we become the students of Sri Ramakrishna, our concept must be broad. We not only realize the truth, but we try to experience the truth and help others also on the way. Sri Ramakrishna himself made clear the distinction between the two types of liberated individuals. Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, there are two classes of Paramahamsas. That means those who have realized the truth. One who has realized the truth is called Paramahamsa. The one is affirming the formless reality. The other affirming God with form. Both are great. And Sri Ramakrishna gives the instance. Sri Ramakrishna in his lifetime had gone to Benares, and there was a great saint at that time. His name was Trailinga Swami, a very great saint. When I visited Benares, I went to see the place where Trailinga Swami lived. He believed in the formless reality. That means he is Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa, like him, like Trailinga Swami, care for their own good alone. They feel satisfied if they themselves attain their goal. They are not bothered about any other things. But those Paramahamsas who believe in God with form, what do? They keep the love of God even after attaining the knowledge of Brahman, so that they may teach spiritual truth to others. Sri Ramakrishna himself is a great example for this. He had reached the highest Advaita state, non-dual state, oneness of reality. At the same time, he was full of love and joy. He would always love to sing bhajans and repeat Divine Mother's name and inspire people in the path of devotion. So, such people are like a pitcher brimful of water. Part of the water may be poured into another pitcher. These perfected souls describe to others the various spiritual disciplines by which they have realized God. They do this only to teach others and to keep them in spiritual life. They show by their own experiments, and then they ask the devotees to follow that. One example I would like to give in this context. I joined the mission in Bangalore, South India, Karnataka, India. There, we adopted most backward villages for uplifting the poor people of the villages. We started school and we did many things in order to help them. One of the things was to show them how to irrigate the fields. We told them the method which they were following was outdated. They have to follow the modern method by which they can get very good crop. But those villagers, they won't immediately believe what you talk about. They simply kept quiet, they didn't follow. They were starving, they have no food. At the same time, they are skeptical, they don't want to follow what we say. How to make them understand? So what we have to do? We purchased a land. And we ourselves cultivated, adopting the modern method. We got a bumper crop that opened the rice. Is it so? Swamiji, we also want to follow the same method. Please help us. See the fun. That's what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. If you experience and tell, see, look, I have seen God. I have adopted this method. Look, following the same method, you will also seek. You can see Him, you can talk to Him. As I am talking to Divine Mother, you can also talk. And he did make Vivekananda meet Divine Mother, and Swamiji was able to see Mother Kali on account of the grace of Sri Ramakrishna. Who is Divine Mother Kali? Nothing but Sri Ramakrishna himself. Sri Ramakrishna in the form of Divine Mother. So, they began to adopt and they became very happy afterwards. That's the way. So, these Paramahamsa of the second type, which I am talking about, they not only realize the truth, but they want to show the way to the people out of their infinite love. See, God is the source of love and kindness. And those, when you realize the truth, you must also be possessed by those qualities. So with great effort, men dig well for drinking water. This example also was given by Sri Ramakrishna. You can read it in the Gospel. When they dig the well, they use spades, they use baskets for the purpose. Because nowadays, all modern methods have come, improved methods. But generally, I also have seen the olden methods, how they were using spade and basket, digging out and removing the earth, etc. After the digging is over, what do? They throw the spades and other implements into the well. Because they don't need them anymore, so why should we simply throw here and there? Let it go in the well itself. But some people put them away near the well so that others may use them. That's important. I have dug the well. I am reaping the fruit. Some people, if they want to dig the well, let them make use of the spade, basket. Let them also have the same benefit as we are having. That's the feeling. And Sri Ram gives another example. It's a beautiful example. Through examples, Sri Ramakrishna, how nicely represents the ideal in front of us. We should be like that. All narrowness must go. Simply burn them away. When you come to Sri Ramakrishna, you must be as broad as the sky, as deep as the ocean. That is Sri Ramakrishna ideal. Remember that. Let us try. Have that ideal fixed. Then everything will go well. Don't allow any narrowness, any kind of fanaticism. And Sri Ramakrishna gives the example. It's a beautiful example. It's also in the Gospel. I'm taking from the Gospel only because it's the Gospel class. Some eat mangoes secretly. And after eating, what they do, they remove all trace of them by wiping their mouths with a towel so that nobody should recognize they have eaten mangoes. It's a delicious fruit in India. Mangoes. But there are some people, they share the fruit with others. They share. They find joy in sharing. This also again remembers me an incident in what happened in Bangalore when I was with the students. I worked with we had a students' hostel, 100 college boys, and Prabhudananji, the head of the San Francisco Center, and myself, we were together in that hostel, looking after 100 college boys, you must know. And we used to go to their rooms. It is 3-seated room. Purposely we made 3-seated. Because if 2 are there, they develop intimacy. 3 should be there. It's healthy. Health point of view, in all respects. Cooperation, everything. And anyway, we had a very nice method of taking care of the children, and they appreciated the discipline. And there are many of them are in America. They are all very grateful for the discipline which they received when we were there. And one incident happened that is relevant for this subject I am talking about. There was one boy, brilliant boy. One day he went to the market. When he returned, he brought a bag full of oranges. And the other friends, they saw him bringing the bag containing the oranges, maybe one dozen oranges or more than that. And he came, and what happened was, next day, his own roommates could not find what happened to those fruits which he had brought. What he has done, when the roommates have slept, he opened the bag and ate all the oranges himself, not giving even a piece, let alone others, even to his own roommates. Next day, he was sick because he was overeating or whatever it is, and whole day he was lying in the cot. Afterwards we came to know about it, and see, that is the thing. What a joy it is to share. What a joy. See, another incident happened that I am telling you in this context. You know, 3 great acharyas. One is Shankaracharya, who expounded Advaita, Vedanta, non-dual state. The other one is Vishishtadvaita, qualified monism, expounded by Ramanujacharya. The other one is dualism, Madhvacharya. All the 3 are great. 3 approaches to the same truth. Now, Ramanujacharya, what a heart. His heart was tremendously great. As usual, in the spiritual path, it is tradition that one should take initiation from the Guru and follow the spiritual path in a definite way, not simply haphazard, not simply reading the book and do something hodgepodge. No. Do it methodically. Then you will achieve the result. So that is our tradition. Even a man may be great, he may be well advanced, but even then he will be directed. Even though you have got all those faculties, even then go have initiation from the Guru, then apply audible intelligence. Whatever you have been doing, continue it. but that tradition must be followed. That's the way. In the spiritual life, that is established tradition. Now, this Ramanujacharya, he went in search of a guru. He got the guru. Guru was very eminent, very devoted. And he initiated him. After initiation, he told him, look, don't disclose this to anyone. Keep it secret. You should not disclose to anyone. Like that, the Guru told. Then after the ceremony is over, he ran towards the temple. He reached the top of the temple and he began to repeat the mantra which he had received from the Guru loudly. And he was calling the people, come all of you, I am giving you something to share. Very, very sacred and secret. I am giving out that secret to you so that you also become illumined. Come on, all of you. He did that. And the Guru was surprised and he called him and said, then Ramanujacharya explained, why not? Why should I enjoy myself? The joy of the vision of God, let them also enjoy. Let them also repeat the divine name and get the illumination. Why not? That is the life of Ramanuja. It's very great. If you have not read, please read. It is available in our bookstore. Excellent life. So, there are sages who, even after attaining knowledge, they work to help others and also to enjoy the bliss of God in the company of devotees. There is a story in Bhagavad. I am just telling very briefly. There was a king, Parikshit Raj. Parikshit, his name. He was to be killed. He was to be killed in 7 days by the snake bite. For some reason, because we begin to talk about that, it will take another half an hour more. So, I am just coming to the point only. It was certain that he would be killed very definitely in 7 days by snake bite. And that snake also is a special snake coming only for that purpose, to bite him. It's all set like that. The reasons are there for all those things. If you study the story, you will understand all those factors. Now, there was a rishi, the son of Vyasa Maharshi. His name is Shukadev. He is a Paramahamsa. He came running to this Parikshit Raj in order to save him. Well, definitely he will leave his body in 7 days. Let me give divine ideas to him. Let me initiate him in spiritual way so that his life becomes blessed. So he came and he narrated the whole story of Bhagavad, which is very famous. In 7 days he completed the whole Bhagavad. By the time he completed, that Bhagavad contains the story of Lord Krishna. By the time he completed, he was almost lost in ecstasy. Because he was so set, because he also knew that he would die. Of course, the snake came and bite, all those things done. They say, even before he had to pass away on account of the poison of the snake, he had already entered into a state of samadhi. He was not aware of the body conscious. He was not aware of the body at all, like that they say. Anyway, how the sage came to him to save him. So like that, the incarnations, they come to our level to save us. Literally they are saving us. And that's what I told in the beginning, if you are really sincere and faithful, you are all drawn towards Sri Ramakrishna and you will have the benefit of spiritual illumination. So, Sri Ramakrishna explains these two categories of Paramahamsas. And Sri Ramakrishna gives the ideal here. He himself is the ideal representing. He is ready to share. His whole teachings, his whole life is meant for us. Meant for us. But you have to follow very thoroughly. Not 50-50. I only follow 50%. No percentage business there. You have to follow correctly. What Sri Ramakrishna has said, follow it correctly, judiciously, with firm determination. Then definitely you will reach the goal. Not only that, you will be able to share that joy with others also. That's what Swami Vivekananda did. What was the reason for him to come away to America to teach religion here? Because the love for humanity. He loved and serving the humanity. That's very important. God is present everywhere, no doubt. About that there is no doubt. God is present everywhere. He can manifest anywhere, anywhere, everywhere. But He is more manifest in the human beings. And when I said He manifested everywhere, anywhere, there is an example, the great story of Prahlad, a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. His father was tormenting his own son because his son was so devoted to Vishnu, which father did not like. And what are you talking about your Vishnu? Do you think he will protect you? If he is there in this pillar, let him come out. Let me see how he will protect you. I will kill you right now. Then he came down the throne. He drew the sword, began to strike at his own son, stating that way, if your Vishnu is there in this pillar, let him come and save you now. I am going to kill you right now. He just came rushing. Immediately the pillar split open and the Lord came out. His incarnation is Narsimha. It is there. It must be here. His name is Narsimha. Half human body, half lion. Lion head and human being. The other portion is human part. Head is like a lion. It's called Narasimha. And then he killed that demon who was very cruel. Of course, why it was done like that, there's a story, big story again. So, God is present everywhere, no doubt. That's what I'm telling. He is, because the whole universe is full of God consciousness only. These forms, they come and go. Today I am here, tomorrow I may not be there. What is this? We are all calling individual. Who is this individual? Who is this individual? After death, how do you recognize you are that same individual as you were before? How do you recognize that? Who is to tell that? Anyway, let us try to follow Sri Ramakrishna ideal. Just today, it's a kind of introduction I have talked. The same topic, Ramakrishna ideal, I am speaking in next Tuesday also. Page 598. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room. Nilakantha arrived with 5 or 6 of his companions. The master went toward the east door as if to welcome him. The musicians bowed before the master, touching the ground with their foreheads. Sri Ramakrishna went into samadhi. Babu Ram stood behind him. M. Nilakantha and the musicians were in front of him, watching him in great amazement. Dinanath, an officer of the temple, looked on from the north side of the bed. Soon the room was filled with officers of the temple garden. Sri Ramakrishna's ecstasy abated a little. He seated himself on a mat on the floor, surrounded by Nilakantha and other devotees. Master, still in ecstatic mood, said, "I am all right." Nilakantha, with folded hands, said, "Make me all right too." Master said smilingly, "Why? You are already all right." Adding the letter A to Ka, one gets Ka. By adding another A to Ka, one still gets the same Ka. All laugh. Nilakantha said, "Revered sir, I am entangled in worldliness." Master said to him smilingly, "God has kept you in the world for the sake of others. There are 8 fetters. One cannot get rid of them all. God keeps 1 or 2 so that a man may live in the world and teach others. You have organized this theatrical company. How many people are being benefited by seeing your bhakti? If you give up everything, then where will these musicians go? God is now doing all these works through you. When they are finished, you will not return to them." Master said, "Yashoda went mad with grief because she was separated from Krishna. She went to Radhika, who was meditating. Radhika said to her in an ecstatic state, 'I am the ultimate Prakriti, the primal power. Ask a boon of me.' Yashoda said to her, 'What shall I ask of you? Please bless me, that with all my body, mind and speech I may think of God and serve Him, that with my ears I may hear the singing of God's name and glories, that with my hands I may serve Hari and His devotees, that with my eyes I may behold His form and His devotees.' Your eyes fill with tears when you utter the name of God. Why then should you worry about anything? Divine love has grown in you. To know many things is ajnana, ignorance. To know only one thing is jnana, knowledge. The realization that God alone is real and that He dwells in all. And to talk to Him is vijnana, a fuller knowledge. To love God in different ways after realizing Him is vijnana. We should stop. Any questions? You are welcome to ask any question if you have got, or any comments. No questions? Anything you want to talk? Anybody? All right, we shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its curve to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are Thy names, O Lord, in each and every name Thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of Thy name. So vast is Thy mercy, how huge is then my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to Thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and Soul of the universe, Mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I am be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years. When my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stillest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.